Why y'all stop, man? Hey.
You have to bring the bars, 3D.
Come on, no. Whoever's rapping, I leave that to him. I'm over here jamming with him, whoever that was.
Hey, you know, it's Friday and we got a show to do, people.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
10 games tonight, but they all take a back seat to the possible finals preview between the Lakers and the Bucks. This is their second and final meeting of the regular season. The last time they went head-to-head back in December, Giannis made a career-high 5 three-pointers. Anthony Davis and LeBron combined for 57 points, 22 rebounds, and 12 assists. It was the Bucks who came out with the win, 111-104. They entered tonight each with the best records in their conference. The Bucks with the best record in the league. Giannis, AD, and LeBron are all going to play. 3D, how much of a litmus test is tonight's game to see where each of these teams are in regards to their championship aspirations?
Well, Chris, as you set it up, possible finals matchup, I think it's huge for Milwaukee. Here's why I say cool. Last year, the way they finished, they jumped out to 2 games over the Raptors. Everyone thought Milwaukee was ready to turn that corner. We saw the reverse sweep, lost 4 games in a row. People question Bud. Where's plan B? Now we see this year Chris Milton playing better basketball, DiVincenzo, Pat Connaughton. So now they're doing it by committee. Yes, say cool, we still didn't see will Eric Bledsoe show up. Can he score some buckets? But now there's no Kawhi Leonard in the Eastern Conference. Now Chris Milton, it's up to you to match whatever Giannis sits to the table because now you're not guarding Kawhi Leonard because your legs were shot in the Eastern Conference Final. Now you can get back to playing solid basketball. I think more for Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think it's huge for both teams, obviously. But to me, this is unique because now, if you're Milwaukee, you got the Lopez twins now. You got to be able to match big for big if LA goes big. They got JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis, and LeBron that they can go to across that front line, plus a Morris twin?
Yep.
Come on now. Like, you're going to have some grimy, tough guys ready to bang a little bit. Little old school NBA basketball in this matchup. So I like the big man matchups you could get in this game. I do think, though, LeBron and AD seem very generous and really nice the first time they played. They didn't really go at these guys the way they've gone at a couple of recent opponents. I want to see if they put the demon caps on tonight and really go out Milwaukee.
And that starts on the defensive end. I got a stat for you, Sekou. You ready for this? So Giannis and AD rank number 1 and number 2 in the league in opponent field goal percentage. Thanks to StatMuse, we see this one right here.
StatMuse.
Giannis, when defending his opponents, holding them at 36% from the field. AD, 38% from the field. So if you had to choose today between these two guys, who would you pick for Defensive Player of the Year?
Wow, that's a tough one. I think more is asked of Giannis on a regular basis in terms of setting the tone for his team defensively. I think he carries a much bigger burden for his team than AD does. Giannis doesn't have a LeBron James to defer to at times or when he needs to. So for that reason, maybe that would give Giannis a slight edge to me.
Then for good TV, Chris, I'm going to go with AD because AD all of his career, since we've known him since Kentucky, he's been able to guard the 1, 2, 3, all the way down to the 5. And then what made his name in the championship game was playing defense. So now his offense has caught up with his defense. I think that's what we forget. AD was a defensive-minded guy coming into the NBA flat out. His offense now, and when behind his back twice, he kind of reminds you how good he really is. But if I'm going to go with a defensive player of the year to answer your question, Chris, I'm going to go AD.
You know, we'd love to have an MVP discussion, but let's look at the stats between Giannis and LeBron this season. I mean, those are just astronomical numbers. We know that Giannis said earlier this week that, hey, LeBron at 35, it's so impressive that he's still a top 3 player in this league. Let's listen to more from Giannis.
Yeah, it's amazing. Obviously, I think, how old is he? 35, and playing the high level, helping his team win, and he just leads the path for us. You know, a lot of times we think that, okay, we're going to retire at 35, but seeing a guy at 35 being still top 3 best player in the world, you know, that makes us want to be there. You know, like makes me want to be, you know, there one day. So I keep taking care of my body, eating the right way, being healthy, and you know, as I said, he paved the way, and hopefully we can just follow.
So, Sekou, I feel as if before a player like Giannis would say LeBron is the best player in the league, but now he's saying LeBron is a top 3 player in the league. Is there anything that you can take from that particular statement?
No, and I think people are too busy trying to parse all of Giannis's words. We did this with James Harden a couple weeks ago. It's just it's always looking for some kind of crack to use, in a debate or an argument. I think what he's showing you is that there's universal respect from his peers for LeBron James and the fact that he's playing at this level, this deep into an all-time great career. I had no issues with Giannis said, and by saying that LeBron is top 3 player in the world, that's him acknowledging that, hey, one of those other members of that top 3 is speaking, and you can throw whatever third you want in there. But I mean, no arguments at all with he and LeBron being in that mix.
No, not at all, Chris. I just think now with the way we pick every little word with our great players, I'm just happy that Giannis is willing to be transparent and be vulnerable and speak about what he believes in and what he sees. Because he's worked. Now, we saw that picture the other day where Giannis first came into the league, how skinny he was, and now in his short career, he built his body up to what he is now. He's built his body and mind to play at a level where he can be in the consideration for back-to-back MVP, where only a few people's ever done that ever in an NBA career. So I like the fact that Giannis is willing to speak out.
Does tonight's game have any implication on the MVP race? Because Giannis is viewed as the front runner, and can LeBron James catch him if he, let's say, goes off tonight in a head-to-head match?
I'm going to let Mr. MVP ladder start with this. You start with that one.
I'm just going to point this out. In an 82-game season, one game shouldn't sway you one way or the other.
I agree.
But there are only 2 head-to-head matchups for these guys outside of All-Star Weekend.
Right.
So you gauge those performances. You do want to know what they did against one another. But I don't know that it can sway it, completely in one direction or the other. Giannis has a huge lead because Giannis has a body of work all season that has elevated him coming off of an MVP season. If anybody should know about that, it's LeBron.
Yeah, Chris. Keep it short and sweet. No, it's one of those games where you go out there and try to win.
Bucks Lakers, certainly one we're going to keep an eye on tonight. R.J. Barrett tied his career high earlier this week, but New York Knicks, the idea that Spike Lee is a victim because we have repeatedly asked him to not use our employee entrance and instead use our dedicated VIP entrance, which is used by every other celebrity who enters the Garden, is laughable. Let's welcome in Mike Verkanoff, who covers the Knicks for The Athletic. Mike, the dysfunction in New York has reached a fever pitch. How are James Dolan and the Knicks handling this firestorm?
Well, they're doing the same thing. This controversy comes around Madison Square Garden. They release a statement, and then they try to move on, and then sometimes there's another controversy that pops up, and it becomes this unending cycle for the organization, and they just can't avoid the bad headlines. We saw that Tuesday with their feud with Spike Lee. We saw that Wednesday with the chants at the arena. That became another thing once fans had to be kicked out, and it's taken away the attention from the on-court product, which isn't that good either. So there's really nowhere to turn for them at the moment.
Okay, let's look forward. He wrote an article detailing Leon Rose reaching out to Warriors GM Bob Myers on advice in making the transition from agent to front office member. What did Rose learn from that discussion?
I think he asked Bob about what it was like for him. Bob Myers said that he asked good, smart questions. He's inquisitive about it. He had about a month between the news coming out that Leon was going to take the job and it becoming official. And Bob, when he talked to me, said the biggest thing that he felt when he took over as the Warriors GM 8 years ago now was that the job has a lot of weight to it. His first offseason, he had a draft with 3 top 35 picks, and he kind of felt the pressure at some point. And that's the same exact position Leon's going to be in this June with the Knicks in the NBA draft.
Certainly a lot happening with the Knicks. Mike Verkanoff from The Athletic, thank you for stopping by the warm-up. We appreciate you.
Happy to be there, guys.
3D, Scott Perry and Steve Mills were not successful as a duo. We can say that now. Mills is out, but Perry remains. So how can that new combination with Rose coming in be successful?
Well, obviously, the conversation of being on one accord is the biggest thing. But knowing Leon the way I do, Sekou, I think the bigger question is how much final say-so does he really have? Can he come in and really do his job and put his imprint and use his wealth of knowledge and wealth of resources that he leaves behind at CAA? Sekou, old players, young players, retired players, analysts on TV, he's connected to a lot of those guys. So the first thing that comes to mind is, can he change the culture? Can he change when guys become free agents saying, hey, I'm at point now. I'm calling the shots. The owner's listening to me. Otherwise, what are we doing, Sekou? It's